It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM Superbike Championship from Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Hello everyone, I'm Greg White, standing alongside me, Jason Pridmore, who's won a couple of these championships. And today is the second day of competition in 2017 for MotoAmerica in the Superbike Superstock 1000 class. And the day is a lot different than yesterday, isn't it?
A lot different. We have a sunny day with no clouds. Yesterday we had a lot of cloud cover and chilly. It's chilly still a little bit today, but I think the track conditions are perfect. As long as the wind stays down a little bit, it's going to be another great day.
Superbike race number one was amazing. Yamaha, huge disappointment. Fastest lap of the race, so and a podium finisher to a Superstock 1000 Kawasaki.
I think if anybody stole the show from the Yoshimura Suzuki team yesterday, it was Bobby Fong on the Lattice Motorsports ZX10. Third place, fastest lap of the race, amazing day. The Yosh bikes did what they came to do. They won two. That said, Cameron Beaubier, our defending champion, still has more points yesterday than he left with after the first race last year, after his little incident. Same with Josh Hayes. He was able to pick the bike up and get a point. I expect those four guys to be at the front, along with Bobby Fong again today for race two.
Well, let's keep things going about yesterday on the Kawasaki pre-show. Here's the third member of our broadcast team. It's Hannah.
Thanks, guys. That's right. I'm here with the one and only Wayne Rainey, gearing up for race number two, anticipating some more action today. You know, yesterday was really exciting. Is that what we can expect to see for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think so. Yesterday being the first day, the riders filling each other out. The Suzuki's looked really good. Tony did a great job. He led Roger the whole race. Roger tried to put a move on him there at the end, couldn't make it stick. The Yamaha guys, you know, we don't really know what they have yet. Both Josh had his incident, and so did Cameron. So we'll see what happens today. I'm sure they want to try to make do from what the result that they didn't get yesterday.
All right, well, it's a beautiful day for some racing. Looking forward to race number two coming up soon. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Hannah. We're looking forward to race number two as well on a beautiful day here in Austin, Texas, Jason. And it couldn't be a better day for racing, could it?
No, it's been great. We've got a lot of fans. I mean, the crowds that we've seen this weekend have been amazing. So, and hopefully they're all sticking around for this great Superbike race we got coming up.
Circuit of the Americas, a great track. Let's take a look at the track map, Jason. This one is spectacular.
20 corners, Greg, and a lot of up and down. It's like a big roller coaster from turn 1 to turn 9. You go through that S's from turn 3, 5, turn 3 to 4, 5, 6, 7. They're all fast and they slow down going through, making it very technical. Hard braking areas, turn 1, turn 11. Then out to a big back straightaway into turn 12 that, again, is very hard braking. First gear on a lot of these motorcycles. Into what I call little stadium sections. Turns 13, 14, 15, 16, all very slow. And then we ramp up to turns 17 and 18. A very, very fun, almost triple apex right-hander, if you will. They go back one gear for turn 19 into turn 20. We've seen some races decided there in the past. I think it makes for a great run to the finish. It's a very short run to the finish. Let's have a look at some race one highlights from yesterday.
Yeah, they did 15 laps in this race, and off the start, we had some onboard cameras. It was Yoshimura Suzuki's Roger Hayden who took the early point.
Yeah, and Tony Elias slotted himself into second there pretty quickly, but Cameron Beaubier wasn't ready to let these guys go as Tony decided to make a move on Raj. Probably about 5 or 6 laps in, he made the move underneath Raj into turn 12, and as they kind of went through this little short section here, we were thinking it's going to be a great race. Then all of a sudden, Kyle Wyman loses the front in what looks like such an innocent crash. Takes Josh Hayes with him. Josh runs to Kyle first, makes sure he's okay. You can see again, Josh just had nowhere to go, and both these bikes hit the wall fairly hard. So happy to see Kyle be able to be all right. Then Cameron Beaubier, mistakes that we don't see him make very often. Turn 13 to 14, just loses the front ever so innocently, still able to pick the bike back up, come all the way back up through the field for 8th place. That left these two guys to fight it alone up at the front on the two brand new 2017 GSX-R 1000s. I know there's a lot of Suzuki fans out there that have been waiting for this new bike to come around, and it definitely shined yesterday. The Yoshimura Suzuki crew have been doing some tests. This guy here couldn't wheelie that ZX-10 because of wheelie control, but came across third overall, winning the Superstock class was Bobby Fong.
So Bobby Fong goes 3 for 3 in his trips to Circuit of the Americas. Here's a look at those results. Tony Elias, 1.7 seconds over Roger Hayden. Bobby Fong over Matthew Skoltz. Jake Gagne, the third of our Superbikes. Over Jake Lewis, Heron, Beaubier was able to pick it up and finish 8th.
Yeah, it's good to see that Cameron got some points. Like I said in the opening, last year he left that race with 0 points. Now he's got something to put and start his campaign for 2017.
You know, the big question is, what's the difference between a Superbike and a Superstock 1000? And here's a couple that we noted for you.
Yeah, you can do the things to the cylinder in the Superbike, and of course we got the World Superbike forks, swing arms. There's a lot of things that you can change on the Superbike. On the Superstock bike, not so much, which makes what Bobby Fong did yesterday even more impressive. You can modify the stock engine just a little bit, and then as far as the suspension goes, it's all stock. It looks relatively stock. You can do some things to the internals, but it just goes to show he ran the fastest lap of the race yesterday on a stock bike. For all of you people out there that are track day enthusiasts and you're going to all your track days thinking you need everything, Bobby Fong proved yesterday you don't absolutely need everything.
So we have both of those types of motorcycles in this race that's coming up. We'll take a break here on BN Sports. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with MotoAmerica Superbike race number 2 from Austin, Texas. MotoAmerica on BN Sports is presented by Dunlop Motorcycle Tires, the only motorcycle tires designed, tested, and made in America for how you ride. And powered by Kawasaki. Let the good times roll. Welcome back to the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship and Circuit of the Americas. Third member of our broadcast team, Hannah, is down on the grid right now. Hannah, what you got for us?
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with our defending champion, Cameron Beaubier. Cam, pretty exciting start to the race, I guess you could say. Pretty dramatic, but you were able to get back on the bike, finish the race, and still get a couple of points. What do you need to do today to make up for those lost points yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday was a bummer. It's not really the way I want to start my season. I wanted to finish the race strong, but we got another try today, and looking forward to just want to try to get a good start and run up front with these guys and see what I have for them at the end.
All right, well, best of luck to you, guys.
All right, thanks so much, Hannah. Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it at the open of the show that Beaubier did get 8 more points than he did at the opening round last year. Plus, we have an extra round this year in MotoAmerica, so we go to 20 races instead of 18. So it kind of maybe minimizes the damage possibly that Cameron did to himself.
There's no question he can run the pace. We know Cameron can run the pace.
Oh,
it's just a matter of how much the pace is going to get pushed forward by these two guys on these brand new bikes. I think Raj looks more determined than I've ever seen him. We already know Tony is already very determined, so we'll see how that goes for Cameron. Let's talk to Bobby Fong, huh?
Got Bobby Fong down here, and third place finisher overall yesterday, first in your class. What changes did you make, if any, for today, and how are you going to replicate yesterday's results?
It'd be hard to replicate yesterday's results, but we're just going to give it 110%. We didn't make many changes out there, but, I'm ready to race. I'm motivated. Just knowing that I could, at least keep up with them for part of the race is a good confidence booster for me. So look for some aggressive passes in the beginning of the race.
All right, thanks, Bobby. Guys.
Look for some aggressive passes. I like it.
Bobby's like so understated, isn't he? Like the way he talks and, oh yeah, no, I'm kind of lucky I got where I got yesterday. That type of thing where he doesn't think he can replicate it again. Of course, Cameron and Josh both fell down, but this guy was right on the back of the leaders for 3/4 of the race. And he had no reason to try to push forward and try to win that race because he had such a big lead in Superstock. What I would love to see today is see if somebody like Matthew Skoltz could go with him because that's going to push both of those guys and see if they have to get to the point where they're going to have to race against some of these Superbike guys. As we look at yesterday with Tony Elias winning, 3 in a row for this guy, Greg.
Yeah, 3 in a row for Tony Elias, and we're going to have onboard pictures of his start and throughout the race. It's going to be very, very exciting here as we wrap up this weekend at Circuit of the Americas. We'll be back with more, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the MotoAmerica Road Race Championship. We're getting ready to get race 2 of the Motul Superbike class and Bazaz Superstock 1000 classes underway for round 1 of 10 for 2017. It's the championship of Texas, and we are at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. And here is a look at your starting grid with Roger Hayden on pole.
Roger Hayden, Cameron Beaubier, Tony Elias, top 3 guys in qualifying, followed by Bobby Fong, Josh Hayes, who I know is going to bounce back today. Kyle Wyman, I just want Kyle to have a little bit of luck today.
Little luck.
Let him finish this race.
Come on,
Kyle's
Kyle.
just riding way too well to be kind of where he's ended up the last couple rounds here at COTA specifically. Let's go back to row 3. We're going to see Matthew Skoltz. Cameron Peterson, who was an early retiree yesterday. Jake Lewis, who had a tip over this morning in practice. So heard he hurt his ankle a little bit. Hopefully he's going to be okay for this race. Hayden Gillum, Jake Gagne came all the way from row 4 yesterday to finish 5th. And Sylvain Berrier, who also had some problems yesterday, a little bit of problems in the race with some electronics and things, so maybe we can expect some things better from him. Josh Herron on that Mean Motorsports bike coming from row 5. Dave Anthony, Danny Eslick. Row 6, we got Bryce Prince, our 600 Superstock champion, bumping up this year into the 1,000 Superstocks. Next to him, Tyler O'Hara. Max Flinders is going to be rounding out row 6. And go back one row, we got Anthony Kaczynski and Matthew Orange in row 7.
And as you can see, the difference between the classes, Superstock 1000, the Pizzazz Superstock 1000 class with the red backing number plates, white backing, or as you can see, just a solid background there on those Superbikes. That denotes the difference, so you fans can see the difference as you're looking at those motorcycles. On-board action provided by Cameron Beaubier on his Yamaha, as well as Tony Elias out the back on his Suzuki. So it's time to get the warm-up lap. Now, Jason, when we talk about the warm-up lap, what are these riders looking for? What are they trying to accomplish?
Well, the big thing here is just getting heat in the tires. They're not going to have to worry about that on a day like today. The bikes have come off warmers. You can see it's a beautiful sunny day here. I think that as you look at the riders go away, the whole purpose of this lap is to have one little last check on, make sure things are good with the bike, make sure that they've got some heat in their tires. And I always tell people, like, when you come back to the line, you want to make sure that there's no question in your mind of what you're trying to accomplish as far as getting the heat in your tires. You don't want to be coming to the line thinking, man, did I get the left side warmed up enough as I go up this hill into this tricky turn 1? And, you know, when you look at this track, see all these S's here, this is a great way of being able to put heat in your tires because you can accelerate between each one of those little lefts and rights and lefts and rights. And you can see this guy went out dead last, Greg, and he went out dead last because he wants to come back to the grid with the hottest tires on the grid starting on that front row. And
always thinking.
Always thinking. And that's what you got to do. And there's, to be honest with you, there's some tracks where it's really important to do that. This being so long, if you come back and you're the first person back to the grid and you get somebody kind of going slow in the back end, you sit there for a long period of time. This field is pretty well tight together. You can see they're all kind of going along together. And there's Tony coming up over the hill. And what he'll do is he'll ramp up speed as you look at Cameron Beaubier here down this back straightaway. We don't talk about this long back straightaway enough. It's got a couple little ups and down, like rises into it. You get over here, you're going to see these 300, 250, and 200 boards on your right. Hard to see right now, I understand, as Bobby backs the thing in a little bit. But those are going to be the roll-off points or brake markers, as a lot of us know them as. And this is this little stadium section part. You can see the city of Austin off in the background. It's a really cool place. If you've never been to Austin, I think that you need to get here for a round here next year. Watching MotoGP, especially with the Moto 2 and 3 bikes, along with our series, MotoAmerica series, it's a great place to watch a race.
Warm-up lap, very important, because last time these riders were on this racetrack was at 8:15 this morning.
Yeah.
So it's a huge gap now, being 3:45 in the afternoon. It was a huge gap, and so you got to knock the rust off. I mean, you know, these are all professional riders that are out here in the field, but you definitely want to keep your rhythm. So this is the final event of the weekend here, the MotoGP MotoAmerica shared weekend. The fans have stayed around to check out MotoAmerica Superbike racing. MotoGP is done and dusted. It's in the books, and that big fanfare is over, and so now it's all up to Superbike race number 2 as the warm-up lap comes to an end. Riders are going to take their grid spots. You can see right there from Cam Beaubier. And once everybody's set and the marshals signal that it's green to go, then we're going to be off and racing. Tense times right now, Jay?
Yeah, absolutely. You saw the 2 Yoshimura Suzuki riders yesterday get great starts. And, you know, both the Yamaha riders, I talked to Josh Hayes this morning, he's been struggling a little bit with his clutch and things. So as we get Tony Elias coming up to the grid last, like we kind of predicted. But we'll see. We're going to watch those 2 Yamahas. For me, I think it's going to be really important these guys bring it to the 2 Suzukis. And it's all going to start with the start, Greg, and see if they can get those clutches to engage properly and get off the line with those Suzukis.
Starting procedure, red light, upper left-hand part of your screen will go on. And once they go out, we're going racing. Are you ready for race number 2? Here we go. The final race at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas is getting underway.
Roger Hayden again, Greg. Bobby Fong, another good jump. But look, It's going to be those two Yoshimura Suzukis leading the way. Kyle Wyman on the far inside of the track. It's a scary place to be, but we've got the 4 guys on the factory bikes up in the front with Bobby Fong slotting in there. Looks like Kyle Wyman just outside of him, but Tony Elias right now slots in behind his teammates. The same kind of thing that we saw yesterday, and I thought Bobby Fong was trying to go underneath Josh. So we got top 5 guys right now. Hayden, Elias, Cameron Bobier, Josh Hayes got that bike off the line a lot better. He was really concerned about that when I talked to him about an hour or 2 ago, and but he's off there with the 3 in front of him.
All right, so Roger Hayden and I had a conversation before this race started, and I said, any changes? And Roger said that they went up a tooth in the rear. He felt that he was suffering a little bit on drive, a little bit too much RPM, and he knew of that, so that's what they worked on.
Well, we talked about it in our broadcast yesterday. I kept on saying as they came into this turn here, turn 12, turn 11, Tony was able to just jump off this corner compared to Raj, so that doesn't surprise me at all, and that's a great piece of information to have. Look at the drive that Raj just got off of that corner, Greg, so that could be something that's definitely going to play into his hands. Now, this morning, Tony went 2:09.9, quicker than they went in all the races yesterday, so we'll see if that pace is the pace that these guys are going to set very early on.
Early morning this morning, the riders got on track at 8 o'clock in the morning. A couple of those Superbike riders said it was the best grip they had had all weekend long. The track never felt so good, even in the cooler temperatures. That was kind of interesting to hear, but totally different now. All these hours later down the road, and it's Roger Hayden leading the way from Tony Elias, Cameron Bobier on the number 1. He's your reigning champion, and Josh Hayes. And you know what? Cameron told me that he really felt he had the pace yesterday. He was very comfortable. Woo, little moment there for Tony Elias.
Those are some of the bumps that we've been talking about. But yeah, Cameron Bobier's got the pace. I mean, the guy's 2-time Superbike champion. He's got the pace. The thing is you can see Bobby Fong, again, right on the back of these guys. The thing is, Greg, is how much harder is he having to work now with these guys in front of him as opposed to when they were on their old bikes? And looking at that, we're going to see what his plan is. We see Cameron a lot really planning his races out where he'll sit back there in third. Is Tony going to try it early on with Raj as he is? Will he be able to hold that bike, control that apex speed? Of course he does. So real quick, Tony wants to go to the front. Now, Raj, this is going to be good for Raj to see as he comes out of turn 11 here in a minute to see if he can get off that same corner with Tony. And what that'll help him with is being able to stay in that draft and get in that draft a little bit earlier. Yesterday, if you remember, he had that draft very late. Cameron Bobier is going with these two.
Cameron Bobier likes to sit back. He likes to just hang out and see as Josh Hayes starts to drift back as Bobby Fong has moved around Hayes for 4th spot. So now Bobby Fong on the charge, trying to go after these full-blown Superbikes as Fong is on a Superstock 1000 Kawasaki, trying to go after a Yamaha and 2 Suzuki. Now we're getting to that part that you're talking about, Jason.
Yeah, and you're going to see here, we're going to watch Raj accelerate out of here. His bike should accelerate a little bit better. Look at that jump he got on Cameron. That is depressing when you see that early in the race. If you're a Cameron or somebody behind Raj, when you see a bike jump off a corner like that, you know that you're going to struggle to be able to hold into that draft. And so that's going to be a big advantage for Raj as he'll settle down here. He'll get in behind Tony and start going with him. You see Bobby and Josh both getting their bikes sideways as they come into this turn 12 area. Just behind them, you see Matthew Skoltz, second of our Superstock riders in 6th place with Josh Herring just behind him in 7th. So, you know, Matthew Skoltz right now sees Bobby Fong going away, and he wants to try to go up there and get a little piece of this also. I'm going to be very interested to watch the pace of this first opening lap, full lap. As you can see again, Tony just waits a little bit longer to go into the brakes, gets down to the inside of the corner a little bit sooner. Look at how much those front forks are compressed as they come to the top of this hill. Controlling that apex speed is what he had to do there, and he was able, and you can see why Bobby Fong got by Josh. Josh got in there a little bit wide up into turn 1 and ran wide. That's why Bobby Fong got by him.
And you can see where Josh Hayes back in 5th spot gets all the advantage Bobby Fong has back when they get to the straightaway, and you really get to open up the top end of those Superbikes.
2:09, Greg, right off the bat. First lap is already quicker than yesterday's pace, and it's both those Yoshimura Suzukis out front doing 2:09.2 for Tony Elias. That's flying. 2:09.6 for Raj. The only other guy in the 2:09s, well, there's Cameron Bobier also, but they were very high 2:09s. This guy has got the hammer down, and look at the gap that they are slowly starting to open on Cameron right now.
So Bobby Fong back there in 4th in the Pizzazz Superstock 1000 class, setting the pace, nearly equaling his qualifying time that he did on a Q. At a 2:09.588 was his Q time, and he just did a 2:09, looks like a 2:09.8
And he yesterday had the fastest lap of the race, I believe, at like a 2:10.3.
He did,
so
yeah.
already a 2:09.2 for Tony Elias. That's a full second. So these guys have found something. Cameron is extremely good through that first sector of the track, all through those S's. That Yamaha working amazing. The problem is can he get close enough to do anything with these guys at the end of the straightaway? Right now, he's tucked in. He's going to get a double draft off both those Yoshimura Suzukis. And let's see if he can close in. This is the view from Cameron Beaubier right now. You can see he's not able to get close enough. Tony running a kind of tight line as he starts his braking down into that last turn, just in case anybody's up behind him. Now Cameron, I think, is just going to try to settle in, see what these two Yoshimura bikes have, and then try to go to work and see if he can plan it out for the end of the race to do something with that.
A lot of these Superbike riders talking about the Dunlop tires and how long they can go. And each rider I talked to individually said that right around that 6 lap mark, 6-7 laps, is when they started to feel the tire work. The rear tire, which is totally different from MotoGP. They were all about the front. Yep. Here, Ray Dunlop has got the front completely sorted, and with 15 laps in the books, it's a lot easier. It's that rear tire that these riders just like to hammer. So we're in that window where in about 3 laps, as Tony makes a big mistake on the rear entry. That was a big moment. It closes Roger right up on him. But we'll see here in a couple laps what happens with the tire situation. And he's got good alternative maps that they're able to switch to with their electronics in terms of traction control settings.
And being able to preserve a little tire life here and there. This is the spot of the track where Cameron does really good. As he just went fastest lap of the race, 2:09.1 for Cameron Beaubier. He's not ready to just throw in the towel and let these guys walk away with things, but you're exactly right, Greg. Now the pace is a full second quicker by a lot of guys than it was yesterday, and that's going to be because of the warmer conditions. Yesterday we had a little bit cooler conditions, a lot of overcast. Now we've got a lot faster conditions today, I believe. So Cameron Beaubier is stuck on the back of these Yoshimura Suzukis.
Very interesting lines for the S's for Roger Hayden. He just didn't get it tucked down into the apex he wanted early on and had a very sloppy section through those S's, but he didn't lose any ground to his teammate. This is the part of the track we talked about where Roger Hayden didn't make any other improvements to the motorcycle. He said a couple little electronic tweaks, but it was really just about 1 tooth in the rear of that motorcycle and really stretching the legs. These new Suzuki GSXR 1000 RRs, Tony Elias easily denoted with that orange on the front of his bike, and yellow with Roger Hayden with the orange. So it's a great color combination that the Yoshimura Suzuki team came up with this year to distinguish, to separate those two riders.
Yeah, the bikes look great. You can see Josh back there has made up a little bit of time from that previous mistake, and he's trying his best to get underneath Bobby Fong. But as they come down through this little S section, I think today's race, there you go, Josh just kind of crosses it back up, gets by Bobby, and this is going to probably be a little less stressful of a race for Bobby today because those guys have literally checked out. You're seeing the big difference today between what a Superbike is capable of and what a super stock bike is capable of. It is literally 0.8 of a second, as Bobby has ran a 2:09.8 or 2:09.9, I believe, it has his fastest. These guys up front are going just a little bit quicker. Now the problem Josh is going to have is just wearing out that tire trying to catch back up to these three. He's got to be hoping these guys start battling a little bit and kind of come back to him. But Bobby, going back to Bobby, now he can kind of manage his pace based off the next super stock guy.
So it's Tony Elias, Roger Hayden, Cameron Beaubier in third, Josh Hayes in fourth, Bobby Fong, the first of our Bazaz Superstock 1000 riders, ahead of Matthew Skoltz. He's got about 4.2 seconds over Skoltz. Josh Herron on a Superbike in 7th spot. Danny Eslick, Kyle Wyman, and Jake Lewis, your top 10 right now.
And Josh Hayes ran the fastest lap of the race that time. He was a half second quicker than your leader. So, you know, I keep on saying, you know, I know how bad Josh wants to win. I know he's had, some problems adapting to the new bike for himself. And, you know, as a rider, when you get used to something that you're really comfortable on, it can be difficult. But he's been telling me he's getting much more comfortable on this bike. He's a lot happier. And right now, I mean, it looks visibly on camera like he's actually closing the gap down again. So I'm hoping that we can see these four really battle each other. And so far, we haven't been able to see Cameron draft those Yoshimura Suzukis just yet. As you can see, he's back up behind Raj. He's just a little far back, but
fastest lap of the race by Cameron Beaubier at 2:09.1 last time around. Josh Hayes back there at 2:09.5. So Hayes, with that mistake early on, Just can't close it. Left-hand part of your screen, Elias, Hayden, Beaubier, Hayes, Fong, Stoltz, Herron, Eslick, Wyman, and Lewis. On the right part of that graphic, you see Elias with that yellow, Hayden with that orange, Beaubier and Hayes with that blue. That kind of denotes the color of the team. So when you come to a MotoAmerica race and you check out these teams, you're going to be really well acquainted with these riders. So those are the little color distinction chiclets that we have in the corner there for you, just to give you a little advantage when you're watching the program. And if you see a rider that you're rooting for in the back, as Jake Lewis has moved past Wyman up into 9th place, as we continue to watch Cameron Beaubier on that Monster Energy Yamalube Yamaha, hounding those Yoshimura Suzukis. Here's a look at the 4-time champ in the Moto Superbike class, Josh Hayes.
Yeah, and I like seeing what Cameron's doing right now. He's kind of pacing off these guys, and all of them again back into the 209s, including Josh Hayes. All of them are back pretty strong in the 209 range, 209.581, 209.6 for Tony Elias. So right now, as you can see, a good look at Josh here. Just seems to kind of struggled a little bit at the start of this race. Made a little mistake up in turn 1, and that's kind of given these guys the gap that they need. Going through those S's, you can see a couple different lines by a couple different guys. Tony likes to run over the paint, probably influenced a lot from his Grand Prix days where he was really able to do that. It's great that COTA has the paint here that offers still a lot of grip. So you can run over those paint curvings on the inside. But again, Greg, 6 of 15. We're still very early on in this race. These guys, and the camera's going to look up the inside of Raj here. You can see him just kind of ducking his head out there, but not quite close enough. What he's going to have to do is he's going to have to get, I don't want to say he's going to have to get dirty, but he's going to have to get to the point where he can pull up alongside of these Yoshimura Suzukis without passing them completely. He's going to have to make it to where it's difficult for them to turn. So he's going to pull up alongside and make it difficult for them to turn in. Otherwise, he's probably going to blow him by him and missing the exit to where those guys will cut it back underneath him. Because it looks like the Suzukis have the measure of the Yamaha just a little bit right now down that straightaway.
Finally, the Yamahas get a good look at their couple-year-old R1 versus this brand new Suzuki GSX-R 1000RR. A motorcycle, by the way, which the Yoshimura Suzuki crew flew over to Japan, and they assembled these bikes in the factory. Then, with Yoshimura Japan and the MotoGP testing team, they went to Sepang and got to test these bikes for the first time when their riders, Roger Hayden and Tony Elias, flew over. And it's Yoshimura Suzuki that's leading the charge in terms of electronics development for this motorcycle worldwide, where it's a little different story for the Monster Energy Yamalube Yamaha team, where they get their data from the team that's leading the charge over from World Superbike. So quite different approaches being taken from the Yamaha team and the Suzuki team here in the United States in the Moto Superbike class. But definitely Yamaha right now has got to be scratching their heads saying, okay, it's got to go back to work. I mean, they've been working so hard in the offseason because they've known this GSX-R 1000RR was coming strong. They had a great test here. Roger Hayden was the fastest one when we were here 3 weeks ago. And now you can see what's happening as we get right to that point, Jason, where I was talking about. Lap 7, now we're starting to see some rear tire wear probably affect the ability of Cameron Beaubier to drive his motorcycle and stay with these thousands.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to talk to Tony and Raj to see if there was any big adjustment that they had to make on the electronics of these bikes compared to their old bikes. Because when you go out and you listen to this, when I went in that exact section that we just saw Raj go through, is he going to try to go up underneath Tony? No, not quite. But that little section they went through, the Yamahas are doing 2 quick upshifts before they come down that hill. The Yosh bikes are only doing 1. That said, also, Raj's bike was a little bit taller geared. So for you to get the information this morning that he did go ahead and gear his bike shorter, I think it's going to make it easier for Raj to kind of be able to stay close. Now, we've seen this gap open up a little bit before, and you can see how bumpy it is. Right where they get on that brake, you saw Raj's bike's kind of buck sideways. But the thing is that Cameron lets that gap open, and Cameron just made a little mistake there. Yeah. So it just goes to show how hard he's pushing. The thing is that they've opened up a little gap on Cameron before, and he's been able to pull that back in. But the more you let that happen, the harder it is to keep putting that back in. But you're going to see Raj as this is coming off the start of the race. Raj got a great start. Kyle Wyman up the inside, Tony up there in second, and Cameron Beaubier just kind of slotted himself between Elias and his teammate Josh Hayes. Now we see Jake Gagne there. I got word that Jake is out of the race, so we'll have to have a look and see what maybe happened. But it's a great view from Cameron Beaubier's view here. And look back at the field. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Tony Elias's view. Looking back at the field as they go up that big steep hill into turn 1, you can see how sharp that turn is.
I know, talking to the Genuine Broaster Chicken Honda team, Jake Gagne, that one of the things they've been struggling with that new motorcycle is actually the rear brake. Jake loves using the rear brake. He comes from a motocross background, and Jake Gagne uses a lot of the rear brake, and he warps a lot of rotors. And so they've been working hard with their sponsor to really come up with a solution. If they can fix that for someone like Jake Gagne, as a matter of fact, because he rides a Honda CBR 1000RR, they actually went and put a 450 dirt bike rear caliper and master cylinder on there to give him kind of a motocross feel in that rear brake. So that's a very interesting bit of information for a guy like Jake Gagne. By the way, is a very, very talented motocross rider, by the way.
When you look at this right now, Cameron Beaubier was a full second behind Raj. Oh, there you go. Nope, Raj still having a look, but yeah, just kind of having a look.
I talked to Roger earlier about this, and I said, you know, at the latter part of the race, it looked like he dropped back with a couple laps to go. He said, yeah, I chopped the throttle. All right, so we saw that because he was testing. The question for Roger Hayden is, where and when can he throw a shot at his teammate? Because Tony Elias is so good on the brakes that Roger really feels the only way that he's going to be able to get around Tony is to surprise him like he did yesterday.
Yeah, and one thing I just noticed on that last little clip there, if you watch, Tony Elias was really working the clutch. And I know a lot of these bikes have auto blip and things like that, but it kind of makes me wonder if he's got a problem at all with the clutch right now, because you can really see him manually really using the clutch on his downshifts there. But the other thing you notice when they go down that back straightaway is Tony probably watched the video yesterday and saw that Raj was in his draft. When you go back, when we see him go down that back straightaway again, providing if Tony's still leading at that point, I want you to pay attention to how long he stays over to the left-hand side prior to them getting into the braking zone. He's going to make it to where if Raj is going to go by him, not only is he going to have to outbrake him on the outbrake him, but he's also going to have to do it coming in from the outside of the track. Again, Cameron Beaubier draws back up onto these guys after looking like he had lost touch. He's drawn back up on the back. Let's look at the lap time of Cameron here, and that lap there, 2:09.9. The only one of the 2:09s was Cameron Beaubier that lap there, and Josh is still just kind of hanging back there, just off the back of him.
And Jason, make note that the Monster Energy Yamaha of Cameron Beaubier is continuously putting in the fastest trap speeds as well. Last time by 190.65 miles an hour at the fastest point of the racetrack. So Cameron Beaubier's motorcycle is definitely fast.
Yeah, it just looked like he didn't really have anything. As we look back here at Josh Herron and talking about these guys just a little bit with Richard Stamboli down there and Gary and the boys. They've been working really hard. Danny Essick talked to him about some things, and his whole electronic package has been messed up since they went testing. And they made some improvements this morning and made that bike run a lot better. So here we go. Top three guys are completely together again. And now we're going to see maybe Cameron's just kind of sitting back. Hard to conserve tire life when you see guys pulling away from you. But again, look at the jump. You can visibly see the jump. Even though Cameron's bike is fast, he's getting a sniff of the draft. That could be why that mile per hour link that you showed us there could be a little bit off. But you can see Tony holds over to the left-hand side of the track a long time, and Raj is going to have to do something pretty spectacular. I think he's going to do it in turn 12, or 11 rather. I think he'll do it at the corner before and try to park Tony is what I think he's going to have to do.
All right, let's go down to Hannah, who has Jake Gagne.
All right, that's right, guys. I'm down here with Jake Gagne. Jake, having some difficulties. Tell us what's been going on.
Yeah, we just on that warm-up lap, we went out and the bike was cutting out on me and it died pretty good. And so we went back to that grid. We were sitting on the grid. The guys worked their butts off and tried to figure it out. And I went out on that first lap and had the same issue with the bike just kind of cutting out. And it's such, we're just bummed out. I'm just bummed out for the whole Broaster Honda Rotaries factory crew. I mean, they've been working so hard all weekend, and we had a positive day yesterday, and I was feeling really, really good for today. But that's racing. That's how it goes. Doesn't always go your way, and we'll come back swinging at Road Atlanta. At Road Atlanta, that's for sure. So just big thanks again to all the guys. They're working so hard, and we're gonna get there. Parts Unlimited, MotorX, excuse me, all those guys, and the helmets, Red Bull for sticking behind me, and we'll get there. It's just one of those days.
All right, thanks, Jake. Guys?
Thanks, Hannah, for that. Good job, Jake Gagne and his crew, for getting that motorcycle going. I mean, it's, hasn't been that long when American Honda stepped up and handed over a couple of CBR 1000RR SP2s to them, so they're got a lot of work ahead of them still, and short time to do it in is our next round is Road Atlanta. As the laps start winding down here, Jason.
Yep. And they got parts trickling in over there, talking with Danny a little bit, Walker on that team, and they've got parts coming in, and Honda's behind them and supporting them, and so on. So this is going to be a great race, Greg, between these three guys right now. They've kind of broke Josh Hayes a little bit. There you go. There goes Raj. That's where I think he's going to try it when it comes time.
And you know what? I think, right, because one of the things that you have to test around this racetrack right now is where are those bumps?
Yes.
So you've got to start trying alternative lines, because one line over to the left and you can see that crazy bumps.
Yeah, you can see, here you go. There's a perfect onboard video. He's going right down the middle of the racetrack. Now they're getting in the braking zone. He's going to move his line, diagonalize his line back across. So anything that Raj does to try to draft down that back straightaway, and maybe Tony knows that Raj is going to gear added a tooth to the rear sprocket to get a little bit shorter gearing out of that corner.
Right.
Maybe, with Tony's experience, he's going to know that, hey, it might be easier for Raj to draft me today. But if he does, he's going to have to go the long way around. It's pretty difficult as a rider to go left of a guy who's already going left down that back straightaway, because it really cuts off your entry into a very tight turn like turn 12. And that could be something that Cameron Beaubier could play on also.
If you could make a racetrack, that would really bode well for a rider like Tony Elias. This is the spot. Circuit of the Americas, a very hard braking and a finesse braking racetrack, and it's what Tony is, I think, most famous for, is his ability to go in deep on the brakes. Not to mention the fact that this is the place with the MotoGP paddock, former employees all the way around, employers actually all the way around. So Tony Elias now, in his 4th trip on the racetrack, in race trim to Circuit of the Americas, is trying to capture his 4th win. He's like the Marc Marquez of MotoAmerica.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's a good reference, especially since they're both Spanish, and they both seem to be able to do the business here. This pace up front, 2:10 flat for the 2 leaders, 2:10.2, 2:10.4 for Josh. So very consistent. These guys have been under the race pace from yesterday since the first lap. They have not gone slower than the race pace was yesterday. 10:3 was fastest lap of the race yesterday. Every lap that these guys have done has been faster than that. So much quicker. Cameron's still hanging out, and I'm very curious to see what kind of plans Cameron Beaubier has made in order to do something with these guys.
The thing that I'm thinking about right now, Jason, is you're Cameron Beaubier. You know you've got to go to the front and the laps are winding down, but also you're Roger Hayden and you want to try to make a move on Tony Elias. You know, it is not beyond comprehension to think that if Roger Hayden decides to go at the same time Cameron Beaubier decides to go, there might be disaster on this whole thing, and next thing you know, Josh Hayes wins the race.
Yeah, you never know. And you said your ability for Tony to brake as deep as he does. The thing that's really good about Tony is he's not afraid to release the brake either when he comes underneath you, and he'll make a big move to try to go past you, and he does it safely. He makes sure that he doesn't really impede anybody else by running a little bit wide. Look how much that suspension is working as these guys come in. As you can see, Cameron Beaubier with the rear wheel off the ground, just compressing that front suspension so much, and that Dunlop front tire. And yesterday when we saw the MotoGP guys tipping over, I'm glad to say that it wasn't the same case for all of our guys in the MotoAmerica with these Dunlop tires. They've been working spectacular. Dunlop does a lot of working with the riders. Here you go again. That little gap starts to creep open between the Yosh bike, and then Cameron just seems to be able to pull him back in.
He does, but he seems to be able to pull it back in on the front tire. And that's one thing you've got to be thinking about if you're Cameron. If you're overworking or overcooking that front tire, which definitely can happen.
And right now, it's just such a case of, we've heard so many times before, catching them is one thing and passing them is another.
Yeah. So 4 laps to go in this race. It's Tony Elias leading the way from Roger Hayden, Cam Beaubier. They're spread out about as much as we've seen in this race after about laps 2 or 3, as Roger just trying to hang on to that Yoshimura tailpipe of Tony Elias. Hayes in 4th, Bobby Fong in 5th, Josh Herron up to 6th in front of Matthew Skoltz, Danny Eslick, Kyle Wyman, Jake Lewis, and Sylvain Berrier just outside the top 10 with Cam Peterson. Looks like he's going to be able to finish this race ahead of his team owner, David Anthony, Hayden Gillen, and Bryce Prince, the top 15. Raj continues to test that line, doesn't he? It looks like he's got a smooth one down there.
It does, and you got to kind of wonder you see him +0 on his board every lap, is he defending against Cameron or is he really testing something for the end of the race? Because it's definitely not going to do him any favors to go in that tight. Obviously, if he wants to try to get in that draft, it's going to be difficult for him to get off the corner the same way that Tony does. But you know, I just feel, I don't know why, but I just feel like Raj is almost a little bit different this year than he was in the last couple. Just seeing him take a shot yesterday on Tony on the last lap was a good sign for me that Raj he's tired of just riding around and finishing second and third. He's got a lot of those trophies. He wants to add some of those first place trophies to his mantle.
Sure does. Owensboro, Kentucky's Roger Hayden. Yoshimura Suzuki right now. Tony Elias, just in the last 2 laps, has really seemed like he's turned the screws, and he has dipped back down into the 209s, right, Jason? I mean, into the low 209s. So Tony Elias, and he has done this before, he's probably trying to break the wheel, snap the back of the riders behind him. But if Roger Hayden can stay with him, there might be a lap where he's got to take a breath. The leader, Tony Elias. Now it looks like Roger's close enough right now. This race could fall into his grasp, fall into his hands. It is going to be very interesting to see what Hayden has in his bag of tricks here. The closing laps as we have 3 to go. Superbike race number 2 from Circuit of the Americas. Big mistake.
Right there, you look at, if you watch, Tony looked like he was in there a little bit too deep, and he got the back end of the bike at the rise at the top of the hill out a little bit. And I think Raj kind of felt that Tony was in a little deep, and it drew Raj in a little bit deeper. But you can see they both got kind of connected again. But there's little things like that that you can definitely notice. That's going to allow Cameron to get a little bit closer. And you look here, the guy in the 209s that lap was Cameron Beaubier at 209.9. Of course, nothing in it. The 2 guys in front of him were both 210 flats. And now looking back, Josh has dropped into the 11s a little bit. So these 3 guys are a little bit of a class of their own right now as they head down this big steep hill. This is where we see Raj move over to camera right here. He's on Tony's left and he's trying, Greg. Here he goes into turn 12.
There goes Roger Hayden. Big move around his teammate. Can he get it turned? He's on the gas. Is that gearing change going to make a difference? Here's the run down the back straightaway.
Yep, and if he can learn anything from Tony, he's got to stay over to the left, and that's what he's got to do. Make Tony go to the outside now, but Raj moving over a little early on the right. That's going to open that door for Tony, and he's good about striking back right away. And look what happened, Greg.
Can Tony Elias get it slowed down? Looks like Roger Hayden's going to try to square it up and drive out as Tony goes wide. And so it's Hayden. No, he can't go around the outside. A little bit wide, so Hayden's going to have to gather himself back up. He may have shown his hand too early.
Well, you literally have to go down into turn 12. After you passed him in turn 11, you have to go as tight as you can. Make him go down the outside of you. Do not give him the option of trying to come back up underneath you. And now Tony's going to have an idea of what Roger's going to do. I love seeing that Raj is taking that shot like he is. The only other thing he can do there is he's literally got to park the bike at the apex of 11. He's got to park the bike there so that it doesn't allow Tony to get on the gas with him. He made the pass going into 11, but he got on the gas just like and gave Tony the option of getting on the gas at the same time. The whole time, Cameron Beaubier is sitting back there watching what's going on. Now, you watch. When we come out of turn 10 in a minute, and I'll bring it up to you, you're going to see Tony make a move over to the left before they go into turn 11 to show, hey, now I know where you're going to do this. I'm not going to give you that option. And now they're down into turn 2. So when we get back up over to turn 10, headed down that hill, Greg, let's see if Tony moves over to the left a little bit to try to warrant that move against what Roger can do back to him again.
Roger Hayden's strongest section of the racetrack compared to Tony Elias is right where we are now. Hayden made a bit of a mistake. Now he's trying to claw back another couple of bike lengths. So Tony Elias coming under fire from Roger Hayden all the while. There's Cam Beaubier hanging back there, trying to formulate a plan of his own. What's he gonna do?
Being able to run consistent laps. Now they're coming down this hill, and this is where Tony might kind of move back over to the left and make it to where Raj can't go anywhere underneath him. And here comes Cameron. He's gonna take a shot at Raj, and what he's gonna do is he tries to park Raj too, but Raj got a good drive out of there. Let's see which of these bikes is quickest, and Raj is going to try his best to get in the draft. What a great move by Cameron Beaubier. Raj is in the draft, though, of that Yamaha.
So here we go, testing a couple of year-old bike. Oh, Roger Hayden, he's going deep on the brakes. He's going sideways, side by side with Beaubier. Can he get the thing slowed down? He does. So Roger Hayden's plans get foiled for a moment, and now it looks like Beaubier's going to go under. So it's now infighting between this Yamaha and Suzuki. All the while, Tony Elias is going, thank you very much. Out front, he's doing his own thing.
Yep, and now it's going to be a matter of can he close that little 0.45 second of a gap. I believe he can. And Cameron's rode an incredibly intelligent race. You don't become a two-time Superbike champion and not be the smartest guy out there. And right now, he has sat on the back of these two guys. He's seen the pace, realized that they can't drop it and go any quicker. So it's given him an opportunity now to push forward. He's got by Raj, and now he's got to go after Tony, and we are coming into 1 lap to go.
Here we go onto the front straightaway. The white flag waves. So this is it, only 3.4 miles to sort this one out. And you can see Beaubier's front tire hit the ground, and there was a bit of smoke there.
He wasn't going to let off the gas. Tony goes up in there very tight, up into turn 1, and you know he's got to try to figure out. He doesn't know how big of a lead he's got. I just saw Cameron Beaubier just got dead sideways at the top of the hill. I don't know if you saw that, Greg, but at the top of the hill, he was sideways. That's going to hurt him a little bit. How much time can him and Raj make up through this first sector now and into the second sector? This is where they've had the measure of Tony just a little bit. And look at Cameron hustling that bike through the S's right now. He is on a mission, Greg, to try to get on the back of him before they go down that back straightaway. I believe he wanted to try to do something with Tony Elias in turn 11. He's not going to be close enough, but he is hustling that R1 right now, trying to get on the back of him and maybe do something with him in the stadium section.
Monster Energy Yamaha Factory Racing's Cam Beaubier, the reigning champion. Can he do anything with Tony Elias? It's less than a half a lap, just about a half a lap to go. Here we go down the back straightaway. The Yamaha's been very, very fast. Can he sniff a draft on Tony Elias? Will Tony Elias make a mistake and maybe outbreak himself if he thinks his riders are too close? Lap traffic way up ahead. Not sure if that's going to play a factor as Tony Elias now sideways off the back straightaway. He hits that apex in fine style. You can see the lap traffic, the helmet stream by your screen. Blue flags will be flying for that lap traffic. So Roger Hayden right now in third spot. It does not look like Cameron Beaubier has the speed to close down on the 24 of Tony Elias.
This is where experience comes into play. Elias has been in this position before. He's closed off a few of his entries. He doesn't know how big of a gap he's got. We're so lucky the lap rider got out of the way for us there. And these three guys are going to go through unimpeded. But Tony's got himself a lead. And Greg, without giving him the jinx of the commentator jinx here, looks like we might have a guy going 4 for 4 in the last 2 years.
So here we go. It's Tony Elias navigating the final parts of this racetrack. He's going to turn the screw and accelerate towards the checkered flag. And it is Yoshimura Suzuki's Tony Elias that will take the win. His 4th in a row here at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Followed by Cameron Beaubier and teammate Roger Hayden. Josh Hayes will come home in 4th spot. That was some race. Man, Tony had to fight off a lot, didn't he, Jason?
Yes, he did. Look who this is, going 2 for 2 on the Lattice Motorsports Kawasaki. Bobby Fong, what a tremendous weekend for him and that team. Looks like we probably got Josh Herron coming across in 6th place with Matthew Schultz just crossed the line in 7th. A lot better run for Danny Eslick, as you see Danny Eslick, Kyle Wyman, and Jake Lewis all come across in that order. So it looks like we got Fong, Schultz, and Eslick for Superstock Podium.
Wow, what a race. What an incredible race pace that was. And the speeds were ridiculous. Top speed, 193.39 miles per hour. Congratulations to Tony Elias and to Bobby Fong, both 4-time winners here. We'll take a break. We'll have more on the other side. Back to Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. We just wrapped up race number 2 of the MoTool Superbike class and Bazaz Superstock 1000 class. And our reporter Hannah is down in Parc Ferme with one of the podium standers.
Okay, guys, I'm here with Roger Hayden, our 3rd place finisher today. Roger, that was a really crazy end to the race, you know, trying to make some moves, get in front of your teammate. Tell us about what happened.
Yeah, I was better than Tony in that one section, and you know, there was a couple laps to go, and I felt like I was better in some places. And once I got by him, he came back by me, and I couldn't. And then Cameron came by, and we kind of diced it up a little bit, and it let Tony get away. But overall, it was a good race, great start to the season. Can't say enough about the GSX-R 1000, the new bike. For its first race, to be this competitive already. We're really excited. So, I'm glad Atlanta's next week, another track that I like, and looking forward to keeping the ball rolling.
All right, best of luck to you. Thanks, Raj.
All right,
Guys?
so Roger Hayden, I mean, that's,
It's a great start for him. I mean, and he showed that he's going to try to take some shots this year. And these guys are riding so hard, it makes it hard to try to pass people. And he's exactly right. He was able to get him and Cameron started dicing it up a little bit, like he said. Tony got away a little. So, anyways, great start of the year for Raj. Let's get back to Hannah.
All right, I'm down here with our second place finisher today. Huge comeback for you after yesterday's results. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, definitely after yesterday, it's nice to come out of here with a podium. I had a really rough start to the season here last year, and I thought it was starting all over again, So we salvaged some points yesterday, got a good podium today. I just got to give a big thanks to my Monster Energy Graves Yamaha crew. They've been working really hard over this offseason to give me an awesome bike, and Bell Alpine Stars for keeping me safe. And yeah, I'm ready to go racing. I'm looking forward to this year. The Yosh boys are strong, but I think we got something for them next race.
All right, we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Well, there you go. He was able to follow those guys for long enough, Greg, where he's probably seen, okay, now I know what these guys have. The thing is that both these teams are tremendously experienced. Obviously, they've both won a lot of Superbike championships. They're not going to be resting on their laurels. It's just going to be interesting to see if the Yosh bike, how much better it gets. And let's get down to Hannah with probably a very happy Tony Elias.
2 in a row for Tony Elias this weekend. How are you feeling right now? This is an amazing start for Suzuki at the beginning of the season with the new bike.
Now we are really happy. We can relax a little bit. Yesterday I didn't enjoy much the victory because I was with the responsibility to repeat again today. But now it's done. Double win is incredible start. After this morning pace, I was thinking to open the gap. I try, but it was impossible. Roger, it has been so strong. Then I've been lucky. They start to fight with Cameron, both. And finally I opened little gap in the last lap and could win. Amazing, difficult race, very hot, and I cannot ask for more. Thanks to all my team, my family. I hope soon they will come to see MotoAmerica races. Thanks everybody.
Congratulations, Tony. Thank you.
All right, so congratulations, Tony Elias. Like Hannah said, his second this weekend, 4th in a row here at Circuit of the Americas. A great start to the season for MotoAmerica as Tony Elias takes the brand new GSX-R 1000R. And make no mistake that Yamaha's also working with some brand new stuff, and that is the electronics of their motorcycles, which by the rules had to be updated for this season. So they're working hard to get that R1 working the way they want to. Let's take a look at the results here, as we know for sure that Tony Elias brought home that victory over Cameron Beaubier and Roger Hayden, Josh Hayes, and Bobby Fong. All right, folks, we'll take a break here on beIN Sports. Don't go anywhere because we're going to have more after this commercial break. MotoAmerica on beIN Sports was presented by Dunlop Motorcycle Tires, the only motorcycle tires designed, tested, and made in America for how you ride. And powered by Kawasaki. Let the good times roll. Podium ceremonies are going on right now for Motul Superbike Class and Bazaz Superstock 1000 race number 2 of the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. Round number 1 for 2017 is in the books. It is done and dusted, and standing on top of that box will be Spaniard Tony Elias, who rides for the Yoshimura Suzuki team in second place. Of course, Cameron Beaubier and that Monster Energy Yamalube Yamaha. And that's a sandwich of Yoshimura Suzuki as Roger Hayden takes his trophy. And Jason, what are your takeaways from this one?
I think, Roger's I think Roger's going to be the guy this year who we're going to see step up more than he has, hopefully, in the years past. Cameron Beaubier rode an incredibly intelligent race, and I like the fact that he said, I think we still have something for these guys, which is good. But, there was a lot of people asking me my predictions on who I thought might try to win the championship or who I felt might be the favorite. And I don't think that you can take it away from Tony as far as him being considered maybe one of the favorites or the favorite this year. He showed a lot of skill last year winning on that older bike. Really put Yosh back on the page last year, and that's why he's back for a second year. Now they've got this new bike. I think he's just going to be really hard to beat.
And you know what, Jason, one of the disasters that they had Yoshimura Suzuki last year was in the rain at New Jersey, and this team has already been to the Dunlop facility in Alabama and tested in the rain just to make sure that they don't get caught out.
Agreed. They scored 12 points total between the two of them in 2 rounds of racing in New Jersey last year at the opening race where it rained. We went there twice. So I think this is going to be a great season. I'm looking forward to MotoAmerica 2017.
So that'll do it from Circuit of the Americas here. The Championship of Texas is in the books. Next week, we head to Road Atlanta, where we'll have all the great coverage right here on BN Sports and BN Sports Connect. So you make sure you want to join us for all of that. Well, for Hannah and Jason, I'm Greg White. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week from Road Atlanta right here on BN Sports.